and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is just about showtime here at the Lumberdome. Civil War Part 2 commencing in just about 15 minutes' time. The Mark Morris Monarchs taking on the R.A. Long Lumberjacks in a battle for the league championship and the #1 overall seed in the upcoming district tournament. Thank you all so much for being with me here tonight. Nick Sisson on behalf of N2 Media and Mark Morris and R.A. Long Athletics. Game number 1 a few weeks ago, back on January the 15th. An electric atmosphere over at Mark Morris High School, and the crowd was in it right away. Mark Morris came out scorching hot in that one, but the Lumberjacks weathered the storm as they have all season long early on in ball games. And the Lumberjacks went on a 30-9 run throughout the second and all the way into the third quarter to come away with an 11-point victory, 69-58 on that night, winning game number 1. A lot of people thought that Mark Morris and their playoff chances of winning a league championship would be bleak after that loss, considering that they still had to travel the Columbia River, still had to play this game here tonight on the road against R.A. Long, and also had a tough home game against Ridgefield, a team that dealt them a league loss as well. All the Monarchs have done since then is win every game, trying to get better along the way. A huge double OT win on the road against Columbia River. Really the signature win of the season for the Mark Morris Monarchs. Their approach has been slightly different since that game against R.A. Long. They've been featuring a lot more of Carson Bogner running the ball at the top of the circle, taking over some point guard duties at times. And Mark Morris is going to need a valiant team effort here tonight against a very tough R.A. Long Lumberjacks team that is currently on a 13-game winning streak, 18-1 overall on the season. They are currently the #3 ranked team in the RPI ranks. Mark Morris, meanwhile, nothing to sneeze at, 18-2 record, and one of those losses to R.A. Long. So the Longview schools, a combined 36 wins and 3 losses thus far on the year. Take away the 1 loss that Mark Morris had to R.A. Long, these teams are 36-2 versus anybody not named R.A. Long and Mark Morris. It doesn't get much better than that. Mark Morris, #7 in the RPI ranks. The computer's not giving as much respect, mainly due to the opponent's win percentage that Mark Morris has. But nothing's really working against them at this point. Mark Morris has all of their goals in front of them still. If they win this ball game here tonight, they would be clinching the #1 seed, and they would be co-league champions with the Lumberjacks, who clinched at least a share of the league title with a win the other night against Ridgefield, 61-41, a 20-point win. Mark Morris, meanwhile, handling business against Washougal, 65-45, a 20-point win. These teams are really even in a lot of categories. If you had a chance to read the BlastZoneMedia.com preview put together by Jody Nalen and myself, I mean, we really tried to break it down as much as possible, but if you look at the games that these teams have played against common opponents, I mean, there's really not much separating them. So far, the only thing that really has separated them is that one game that played back on the 15th of January that R.A. Long won 69-58, but the Monarchs are just 1 win away from evening that series, and they would have the tiebreaker over the Lumberjacks thanks to 2 victories over Columbia River, whereas the Jacks split the season series with the Rapids, the only team that's beaten R.A. Long so far this season. And R.A. Long only lost that game by a single point, so all things considered, they are an incredibly tough team to beat. We've already got 119 devices tuned into this one here tonight. Be sure to make some noise on my end here in the live stream comment section, where you're watching from and who you're rooting for. Mike Peck, first one on the live stream chat, says, "Go Monarchs." And then Shannon on the YouTube channel says, "Love that both of our Longview schools are doing so well." I think they would agree with that sentiment. The Pet Band is in attendance for this one, as they should be. And wouldn't you know, over on the far side, the Black Mob showing their face once again. R.A. Long hasn't, the student section really hasn't gone by that moniker for probably over a decade now. They used to have t-shirts that said Black Mob, and they are all decked out in black here tonight You love to see it. Meanwhile, the traditional Columbia blue in attendance, but the student section also predominantly wearing black, but they brought their Burger King crowns with them as well. Monarchs, Kings, there's the reference kind of right there. You all know that, though. Nobody's really stranger to these two teams who's tuned into this one so far here tonight. We've got just about 6.5 minutes until we're going to get pregame introductions, and the Lumberdome already nearly at full capacity. The junior varsity game in front of this one, Mark Morris with a 21 or so point win against the Lumberjacks. So #1 game here at the Lumberdome going to the Monarchs corner. And the Monarchs traditionally hand out newspaper prints when they play this game over here at R.A. Long, and the student section is getting themselves prepared for the introductions in this one. You'll love to see it. Both schools so prideful and so supportive of their teams, and then the opposing team so detestable at the same time. It's quite a mixture, and I'm just happy to be a part of it and glad that we got so many people tuning in right now. Chaz says Jacks, Jacks, Jacks. Adam Hartley, go Jacks. Mora says let's go Jacks. The live stream comment section was cooking the last game. And both sides had their fans hyped up at different moments in the game. Early it was the Monarchs, and then late it was the Lumberjacks. And fans, if you're not doing so already, please make sure that you are subscribed to our live stream channel that you're watching on. We're going to go wide lens here, as wide as we can, to kind of give you an idea of what the stadium looks like on the R.A. Long side. The Mark Morris side here on the near side is just as full. The one thing that's so hard about coming here to play a game is the parking situation. Most people are parking over probably at Monticello or Olympic Elementary, because if you wanted to get a close parking spot here tonight, you probably had to attend school today, because that's how busy it is. Garrett says, been waiting for this broadcast all season. Yeah, you know, I mean, believe it or not, I mean, I get really, really nervous for games like these, just because, you know, I want to make sure I represent both of them, both teams, you know, equally. And I do my fair share of broadcasts for both teams. But I always want to present a really good broadcast, and you just don't know what to expect in this one. You know, the Civil War runs deep. So many different connections between coaches on one team that graduated from the opposite school or played for the opposite school. It's crazy. Morris says San Diego and Arizona family there to support Crocodile Hunter. Landon Irwin, Rick and Tina on Facebook, let's go Jacks. There's a lot of Jacks fans here so far on the comment section. Delmar says had tickets, dad too sleepy to make it. Uh-oh. Delmar Sr., come on, man, you got to come through. But real quick, fans, while I got a chance to do it, this is where you're going to find us on social media. N2 Media, LLC, YouTube channel. Basically, if you type in any combination of media and N2, you're probably going to find me. The profile picture is the same no matter what. But drop a like on both pages if you could. We are like 8 followers away on Facebook from 3,000. So I'd love to get over that 3,000 follower mark here tonight. And we just hit 1,100 on YouTube. We initially started all on Facebook, so. Can I pick, Brian says, can I pick Tumwater in this one? Book it, Brian. Absolutely. Book it. I think Anacortes might win this one by 11, though, Brian. Two and a half minutes till pregame introductions. Kyoki's comment is definitely classic Lumberjacks. Give them the axe, Jacks. They had to ban that chant long time ago. The give them the axe chant. Where? In the neck. Me and Jordan Nayland of Blast Zone Media were talking the other day about how the rivalry in terms of student banter against one another has really, really calmed down over the years. When we were in high school, there were some all-time wide-eyed banners and statements that would be made from student section to student section as teams are going to head to their respective benches. But one of the funner rivalries in the state of Washington. Fans, this is the 150th Civil War meeting. Mark Morris, their record 107-42 against RA Long all time. The Jacks have won 7 out of the last 10 overall. No, that can't be right. 6-4 in the last 10. So I just want to let you know on the near sideline, it will be difficult to see with the students standing up for Mark Morris. I don't have a higher camera, so I'll kind of give you a glimpse of what that looks like, but we should still be able to see something. But it's just going to be what we deal with.
For tonight's Greater St. Helens League boys basketball version of the Civil War, featuring the visiting Mark Morris Monarchs and your Lumberjacks. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would you please direct your attention to the announcer's table for a special presentation. Here to make the presentation is proud member of the RA Long class of 1984 and member of the RA Long High School Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2019, Mr. Dexter Griffin.
Thank you, guys. Wow, this mic is loud. Man, many good memories in this game. I just wanted to, on behalf of Longview, Washington, and RA Long High School, I'm here with Tony Botero, Cassie Botero, and Lee's up there, Botero, to honor their father, who spent more than 30 years announcing games in Longview, Washington. He was very special to me ever since I was in kindergarten all the way up to high school. He announced our games for many, many years, whether it was at RA Long, basketball, football, Central Little League. All those of you who remember Central Little League, I hear it's gone now. But it's too bad. But I want to honor him by saying that he was just one of the best people that have ever stepped into this gym and into this city. And I just want to say, we thank you, Ken Botero, for all you've done for the city of Longview. And for that, I would please ask you to join me in standing up and giving him a moment of silence, please. He had passed away a few weeks ago. Thank you, and go Jacks.
That last statement didn't draw much applause from the Mark Morris side, but very great gesture in honoring of Ken Botero.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dexter Griffin. Thank you very much, Dexter. I know you guys were all standing and you just sat down. However, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise? Gentlemen, remove your hats, caps, and hoods as we honor America and those who protect and defend her with tonight's national anthem. This evening, the Star Spangled Banner will be performed by the RA Long High School Athletic Band under the direction of Mr. Dan Reed. our student athletes recognize that judgment calls by coaches, officials, and themselves are made in good faith and should be respected. Spectators can support both of these teams by refraining from derogatory and demeaning comments and cheers this evening. We hope that you will enjoy tonight's action and support the student athletes from both teams in a positive and sportsmanlike manner. At this time, we would like to acknowledge our officials and thank them for their time and effort this evening. Without officials, tonight's game would not take place. A big hand for tonight's officiating crew, Eric Cheatley, Brian Keeley, and Ryan Chinchin. Please remember, ladies and gentlemen, to stay positive tonight with your actions and words, and to always be an encouraging example for everyone around you to follow. Thank you from Ari Long High School and the Greater St. Helens League. Before we get to our starting lineups, it's time to meet tonight's courtside attendance, sponsored by Right Line Equipment, the right tool for the job, and by Serve Pro of Longview Kelso, like it never even happened. Let's have a huge Lumberdome welcome for tonight's Junior Jacks, keeping the floor clean and sweat-free. Ladies and gentlemen, Easton Bosson and Tyson Stone. And now let's meet the starting lineups for the visiting Mark Morris Monarchs, as announced by head coach Ken Kelly. At forward, a senior, wearing number 3, Dalton Stevens. At guard, a junior, wearing number 4, Drew Ibarreta. At guard, a senior, wearing number 20, Nathan Stevens. At forward, a senior, wearing number 23, Carson Bogner. And at forward, a senior, wearing number 33, Mac West. And now, under the watchful eyes of the Lumberjack and Lumberjill statues in the corner, casting down the protective and fortuitous gaze over the surface of Joe Moses Court in this, what the Seattle Times called one of the top 10 gymnasiums in the state of Washington, the jewel of 1939, your historic Lumberdome. I ask you, Lumberjack Nation, as you rise to your feet, don't you know what time it is? It's 7:10 p.m. and it's time to get a little bit jacked up. Here are the starting lineups for your, say it with me, R.A. Lumberjacks. At guard, a 6-foot senior, wearing number 1, co-captain,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, introductions have been made. National anthem has been played. We are just about set for the first 8 minutes of action in this Civil War rivalry between Mark Morris and R.A. Long for the league championship and the #1 seed in the district. Tournament starts next week. Again, starting lineups: Dalton Stevens, Drew Ibarreta, Nate Stevens, Carson Bogner, and Mac West. For the Monarchs and for the Jacks, Peyton Thill, Tremaine Jenkins, Josh Crane, Landon Irwin, and Rhett Young. Ryan Chinchin, Eric Cheatley, and Brian Keatley, your officials here tonight, and Mr. Eric Cheatley will toss it up. And they're waiting for the music. And Stevens taps it back to Ibarreta. We are off and running. Monarchs controlled tip. Bogner with it, being guarded by Crane here on the opening possession. Jacks look like they're showing a little zone defense here. Irwin closes out on the shooter, Stevens. Stevens hesitates, jabs him off, misses the shot, box out Crane on Ibarreta, and Josh brings it across. Skip pass, nearly too high to handle. Crane corrals it. Near side Irwin now, 13 on the shot clock. Landon goes back to the top, stays at the top, gets a pass, swings it near side Jenkins. Jenkins back to Thill. Thill looking to rotate instead. Finds on the baseline the big 6'8" center, Rhett Young, who goes up and gets the first bucket of the game, 2-0 Jacks. Ibarreta pushes it up in the front court for Mark Morris. It's got Thill on him. Bogner comes way out to get it. Crane still patrolling him. Now West extended, finds Stevens. Stevens being guarded by Jenkins, and the three is up and down. Dalton Stevens hits his first field goal attempt, gives the Monarchs a 1-point advantage. Thill goes to the top, back to Irwin, swings it far side Crane. Entry on the baseline. Young has it stolen away. Ibarreta pushes it up ahead. Ibarreta loses it in the backcourt. That would be over and back. It was not deflected. And Irwin is fired up. Landon unable to play in the previous game against Ridgefield. The Jacks were able to win that one by 20 without his services. But awesome to see Landon able to compete out here tonight. Irwin, bounce pass is kicked by Bogner out of bounds. 5:59 to go, opening quarter, new shot clock here for the Jacks. Phil catches, rotates it quickly to Crane. Crane back to Peyton. Peyton looking left, goes back near side to Crane. Crane off the dribble, double teamed. Good closeout there. Shot missed. Irwin sneaks in and goes up, and it bounces down. Crikey! Back and forth we go here, 4-3. And the ball's thrown away. Jenkins comes away with it. 3-on-2, finds Irwin. Young trailing. Irwin goes up with a hook shot. Crikey! Back to back for Irwin. 6-3 Ari Long. Ibarreta looking to set it up. And Young still patrolling right there in the middle. Stevens comes out and gets it. Double team. Young comes out. Step back three short. Mac West loses it on the way. Oh, no, he doesn't. They're going to say off of R.A. Long. Looked like West attempted a shot and had it roll off of his right finger. Tip, right hand. I don't know what your right finger is. You got 5 of them. Stevens gets the inbound, holds it high. Double team might have came over, but he kicks it to Ibarreta, who keeps it going from distance for the Monarchs. 6 apiece. Thill lobs. Young catches off the glass. Dime to Thill, bucket to Young. Great execution so far on the offensive end by the Jacks. They're getting good looks down low. Size advantage down low for Young. Thill closely guarding Ibarreta again. Ibarreta full head of steam into traffic, nearly loses it. Young blocks it. Thill fouled hard after catching it, and he might stay down for a minute, but Irwin's there to pull him up. And Irwin does get Phil up off of the floor. Mac West is going to be charged with the personal. First foul of the game for West, and it's the first team foul. 8-6 Jacks with possession. Phil playing tight defense, forcing Ibarreta to have to dribble out of pressure, and all he did was dribble into more. Near side Crane goes to the corner. Feed, kick out. Another rotated pass to Crane. A three is Drano for Josh Crane. Largest lead of the game here, 11-6, R.A. Long. Phil again pressuring the ball on the way up to Ibarreta. High screen comes, Ibarreta crosses over, drives left, cut off, kicks to the corner, Bogner. Bogner finds West, now Bogner occupies the same spot, pump fakes, and picks up his dribble. Ibarreta double team, picks it up, back to the basket, finds Nate Stevens. Nate for three, no. Crane rebounds. Mark Morris getting most of their looks from the outside here. Phil back to the top to Crane, 3:28 to go first quarter. Jack's very efficient on the offensive side so far. Quick ball movement here as well. No dribbles. A flash to the high post. Reach in by Stevens. Pokes it loose. Jack's reset. Opening there for Jenkins, and Jenkins counted and one. Carson Bogner was there, but Eric Cheatley says, nope, that's a block. Trey Jenkins will head to the line for a chance at the old-fashioned three-point play. And into the ball game, Jaden Brooks, who is now available to play for the Monarchs. Free throw good by Trey. He's got three, and we've got a timeout. Look at the court on the far side, I should say, in the stands. The R.A. Long student section bringing back the Black Mob vibes here, and it's totally full. Even the cheerleaders brought out the black cheerleader uniforms. 3:11 to go here in the opening quarter. R.A. Long starting hot, 14-6, but this is a story that we already saw told over at Mark Morris, except the script was flipped. A lot of time left in this ball game. Mark Morris yet to get some quality looks down low. They're living outside on the three-point line. Might want to think about a slightly different strategy here at the 3:11 mark. Bob says he's watching from Wisconsin. Can someone tell me where these schools are located? Yeah, Squirrel City, USA, and Longview, Washington. These two teams separated by a man-made lake, a man-made squirrel bridge, or 5, just 3 miles apart from one another. Monarchs possession after the timeout. Jacks showing a trap defense. Ball pushed ahead to Stevens. It's one way to get someone out of a trap is just advance it quickly. Ibarreta, bounce pass to Bogner. Little motion cut there. Stevens gets it to Stevens. Dalton being guarded. Jabs left, steps back. Tough fader, short. Trey Jenkins with the rebound, toeing the baseline, and he is going to be out of bounds. And it looks like there's going to be no foul called, as that's what Trey was looking for. Nate Stevens was right on him. And the "you can't do that" chant by the Monarch student section. And we're going to get a quick foul on the entry pass, Crane, on the back of Bogner.
Lumberjack foul call number 21, Crane. First personal, first team foul.
And into the ball game, Cam Newsome, first off the bench for the Jacks, goes to get Landon Irwin. 2:44 to go first quarter. Inbound over the top of the defense to Bogner. Handoff Ibarreta. Ibarreta being harassed by Phil, the Python, continuing to constrict the guards, and now we've got a 5-second closely guarded violation. Wow, that was a quick 5 seconds, I'll say that. Ryan Chin making the call there. Jack's still on top here, 14-6 in the early going. Newsome will get his first offensive possession under his belt, brings it across. Newsome goes back to the top. Phil wide open at the top for three. Splash by the Python. Double-digit lead here in the early going for R.A. Long, 17-6. Double team on Nate Stevens. Good ball movement here. Brooks throws it far side. Nate all open for three. It rolls out, look down and out, but hey, there we go. Bogner's there underneath the basket to get the offensive rebound, and it looks like we're going to get a foul on Crane, and that's going to be his second personal. And that was something that he dealt with in game number 1 with some foul trouble. He picked up 3 in the first half, and he subs out for Jeffrey Rookledge coming in off the bench for the Jacks. Ibaretta looking to inbound it, bounce pass, Brooks. Brooks has Young on him, takes him out to the three-point line, gets it to Dalton Stevens. Dalton drives right, behind the back dribble, 14-footer, yes, that's a great move. Big league move for Dalton Stevens, and a badly needed bucket there for Mark Morris. Stevens with 5 for the Monarchs. Phil dribbles once, goes to Newsom. Newsom still with a dribble, being guarded by Ibaretta. Gets past Drew, leans up, throws it up. There it is for Young, another lob. And Young has shown tremendous hands and body control after he leaves his feet, able to put those up and in. Jacks continuing to get what they want down low. Bogner puts it on the deck, drop step spin, footwork, kicks corner. Stevens passes up on the 3. Newsom challenges him, count the bucket, and 1 for Nate Stevens. So the Monarchs looking to get going from the 2-point field goal area. 19-10 with 65 seconds to go here in the opening quarter. Free throw by Stevens is good. And it's a 19-11 advantage now for the Jacks. Far corner, entry pass down low, drop step hook, Young. Young with 8 in the first quarter for R.A. Long. Outlet pass up ahead. Brooks fires a pass too hot to handle for Bogner. Jacks come away with a turnover. Newsom on the logo. Puts it on the deck and drives inside. Kicks to the corner. Out of the corner, dribbling is Phil. Phil fouled, and it's on the floor. And the Monarchs still have a couple fouls to give. This one's going to be on Nate Stevens. It's going to be the third Monarchs team foul and the first personal on Nate. Phil to inbound, finds Newsom. Newsom passes up an opportunity, goes to the corner. Phil, passes up an opportunity as well. Jacks are going to take the last look here with 12 seconds on the clock, shot clock off. Newsom, top of the circle, Young. Time running down, 3 on the clock. Newsom checks it, pulls up. Cash. Jacks score nearly a quarter century in the first quarter. Newsom with his first field goal. R.A. Long leads it 24-11. Fans, we're going to step aside for a quick timeout. We'll be back in 1 minute. Ecological Land Services provides efficient, cost-effective solutions for environmental permitting and land management. With 30 years of experience in the Pacific Northwest, they help developers, agencies, and landowners navigate complex environmental regulations. From wetland and stream assessments to habit restoration and mitigation bank development, ELS delivers accurate, timely services designed to bring your vision to life. For example, if you're planning a new construction project near wetlands or streams, ELS can help by assessing the impact on the environment, securing the necessary permits, and ensuring your project meets all environmental regulations, all while saving you time and money. Ecological Land Services, delivering smart, reliable solutions. Visit www.eco-land.com to learn more. Ecological Land Services, proudly sponsoring N2 Media Streaming. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to our sponsor here for the ball game, Ecological Land Services. A lot of good in that. It's like calling, 811 before you dig, kind of essentially, but a lot more intricate. Jack's ball, Newsom leaves it a little bit short. Young taps it out of bounds. Mark Hendrickson into the ball game to start the second quarter for the Monarchs. Jacks are going with the lineup of Phil, Rookledge, Newsom, Irwin, and Young. Crane still on the bench with 2 fouls. And the Monarchs going with Hendrickson, Ibarreta, Bogner, Brooks, and Stevens. Newsom in the hip pocket of Ibarreta. Screen set, Newsom goes underneath and continues to ride Ibarreta, who throws it up long. Brooks goes up and grabs it, whistle late, and it's going to be free throws here for Brooks. And head coach Jure Key wanted an explanation from Brian Keatley there as to how he could see a foul from near half court, but calls made regardless.
Brooks to the line for the Monarchs, shooting 2.
Brooks still scoreless in the ball game. His first trip to the free throw line, and the first is on the way, and it's no good. Rookledge boxing out on the first free throw. So Jaden Brooks with his first point of the game. And the Monarchs looking to get something going here. Second free throw also good for Brooks. Newsom feeds it down low. Young just keeps it up high and away from the defense. First player in double figures, Rhett Young. Brooks gets a foul on Young. That's going to be his second. So fouls starting to creep up already here for R.A. Long. If there's something that you want to do that can turn the tide, this is it. Try to, if you're going to want to get Young out of the ball game, attack him. That's what the Monarchs have done so far. Brooks misses, though, on the front end of 2. Trey Jenkins goes to get Rhett Young. Your best ability is availability. So Rhett stayed close to the edge of the bench. Brooks hits the second, and he's got 3. 12-point lead for R.A. Long. Newsom finds a slip to Jenkins. Jenkins doesn't like it, gets it back out to Cam. Cam being guarded by Stevens, crosses over, cut off, keeps his dribble down low. Might have been a foul there, throws it up, no shot, it goes anyway. And Brian Keatley says it's on the floor.
Monarch foul number 3, Dalton Stevens, first personal, first team foul of the quarter.
That's going to be the first foul on Dalton Stevens. Nate Stevens checking into the game for Mark Hendrickson. Cam having a laugh here, thought that he should have been given the and 1. Continuation, right? Phil goes to the corner to Irwin. Irwin cut off baseline, good defense there by Bogner. Newsom walking it all the way back out, has Ibarreta on him, stumbles, and he has it stolen away by Brooks. Brooks trying to get out in front, and he lays it up off the glass. Brooks having an effect here. He's got 5 now, lead down to 10. Still a lot of time left in the ball game, obviously. Irwin picks up 2 defenders, behind the back dribble, squeezes in between 2, crikey! And we've got a timeout after the made basket.
Timeout, Lumberjacks.
By Jure Key and R.A. Long. It's going to be a 30-second timeout. So we're going to take a quick timeout with them, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. Edward Jones is a proud sponsor of R.A. Long and Mark Morris High School on N2 Media. Call financial advisor Ryan Littlefield at 360-916-4650 or visit him at 911 11th Avenue in Longview for all your investment needs. Edward Jones, member SIPC. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lumberdome. Special thank you to our sponsor, Ryan Littlefield at Edward Jones. Been with us all season long. For the best sound financial advice, trust Edward Jones and Ryan Littlefield, head coach of the Lumberjacks baseball team. 28-16, R.A. Long on top with 6:08 to go, second quarter. Stevens will bring it across. Now Now near side, Phil being guarded by Stevens. Double team comes. Nate Stevens closed out on hard on a three. Brooks goes up, grabs the offensive rebound, keeps it alive for the Monarchs. New life here. Stevens with it. Screen in position. Pass down low. Backdoor blocked on the backside by Irwin. Crikey. Newsom walks into a triple. No. Crikey there with the rebound. Landon Irwin, a man possessed right now, doing all the little things exceptionally well. It's got to be a talking point if you're Mark Morris. Rookledge for three. No. Newsom battling. Can't get it. Armstrong with the rebound for Mark Morris. Brooks off the dribble, shoulders into contact. Phil reaches, and it's a foul that's going to put Brooks back at the free throw line. So Brooks doing a good job here, and now, wow, the official right in his face. And we got
Phil, first personal, 13 foul of the quarter.
We got a foul here, and they're going to get 2 free throws, and it looks like Coach Key is wanting an explanation for why that is. But the official got right in the face there of Brooks. So Brooks at the free throw line, and you can see Jure Key there at the bottom of your screen just pointing back to the other end, saying that's the exact same thing that happened with Newsom on the other end, and he didn't get the call. Brooks hits the free throw. He's got 6. Mac West into the game for Zane Armstrong. 28-17. Monarchs trimmed it down a little bit, and Brooks has been the catalyst. He's got 7 here in the first half off the bench. Newsom still with it. Mac West on him. That's a mismatch. Crossover entry. Newsom pulls up long. Bounces off though. Brooks gets it. Brooks has had a major effect so far in the ball game. Bounce pass down low. West up off the window. And Mark Morris has got the momentum here. Trimmed it down to 8. Newsom to the corner. And the Jacks rotate it out. Far side now. Jenkins, jazz right, gets around West easily. It goes up, count the bucket, and 1. Jenkins tackled by 2 players. Nate Stevens and West come together and sandwich Jenkins on the ground, but Trey strong off the window, looking to convert his second three-point play. Crane will enter the ball game for Cam Newsom. So the Jacks come up with a quick answer, 30-20. Jenkins' free throw looks long and right, and it is. Irwin keeps it alive. It's tapped to Bogner. Bogner finds Stevens. Stevens pulls the trigger. No. Bogner trying to track, throws it off of Rookledge. Heads up. No, they say he stepped on the line. I read the lips of Eric Cheatley there. And Ibarreta is going to check into the ball game for Mac West. Halfway through the second, R.A. Long still on top by double figures, but the Monarchs have outscored R.A. Long by 3 so far in the period. Rookledge fires a pass near block. Double team here comes. Crane gets it out. Jenkins all alone behind the play. A 3 up from the corner, no. Jenkins goes up and grabs it, misses it though. Jenkins grabs another offensive rebound though. The Jacks hitting the board strong. A key talking point in the preview put together by Jordan and I on the Blast Zone Media article. If the Jacks are able to get second and third opportunities, it's going to be very difficult to beat them. Crane stolen by Ibarreta. Great play by Drew. Monarchs looking to take the momentum back. Nice rip through. Stevens, body control, no foul. Misses the shot though. Irwin comes away with it. Phil, and it's an offensive foul. And Ibarreta there to take that one. Phil helped up to the floor by Irwin.
Lumberjack offensive foul number 1, Phil. Second
Yes, Brian, it's Steve Rookledge's son. Cam Newsom's going to check in for Thill, who has – no, Thill's going to stay out there. He's going to check in for Rookledge. Thill now has 2 personals. So in the foul category, the Jacks don't have a foul to give for the rest of the quarter. So if you're Mark Morris, you want to be aggressive and attack the basket. One-on-one right now. Stevens checks over to the bench, gets it to Ibarreta. Newsom closes the distance, nearly steals. Circling the top, Stevens, an elbow jumper, no good. Crane rebounds. Crane, full head of steam, pulls up, looks a little long, and it's to the left as well. Ibarreta with the board. The Jacks have cooled off a little bit here. Stevens drives, great defense, but not good enough apparently. Dalton Stevens now with 7, and the Monarchs staying within striking range here, 30-22. The Monarchs defense has been huge so far. They've only allowed 6 Lumberjacks points in the quarter. The script flipped from the first game essentially. Jenkins to Thill. Thill at the volleyball line, wants a screen, gets it. Gets a switch going against Bogner now. Drives left, kicks. Crane drives inside. 1 on the clock. Newsom gets it up, and it does not draw iron. The Monarchs defense suffocating here. Force a 30-second shot clock violation. Crane subs out, Rookledge back in. Mark Morris has done a great job of weathering the storm here so far on the road in a hostile environment. Near wing facing up now, Dalton Stevens gets it to Ibarreta. Ibarreta fires a pass down low in the paint. Nate Stevens going against Rookledge. Left hand turnaround off. Rookledge rebounds. And we've got a whistle. Foul is going to be called on Nate Stevens.
Monarch foul number 20, Nathan Stevens. Second personal, third team foul of the quarter.
But the defense for Mark Morris, the story here so far in the quarter. Only 6 points allowed. I'll say that again. But Ari Long has had its fair share of foul trouble here in the quarter. Young on the bench with 2. Crane also on the bench with 2. Thill on the court with 2. Newsom has West on him, squeaks around, finger roll up and in. That's a mismatch every time. You gotta like that matchup if you're R.A. Long. Newsom now with 5. Bogner off the dribble, no good. Hits the dead spot on the back of the rim. Outlet near side. Jenkins looking to get up in front. And a foul back behind the play against Peyton Thill. Wow, you don't see that very often. We're not going to be able to show that to you. And it's going to be free throws here. Thill, that's his 3rd personal. That is huge. Robert Wilson up off the bench. So Robert Wilson checks in for Peyton Thill. Foul trouble really starting to plague R.A. Long now. Their starting point guard, Peyton Thill, now on the bench with 3. The Jacks have got to figure out a way to mind their manners, and Dre Key is tracking down Brian Keatley over here, wanting an explanation. We couldn't show it to you because the camera was up ahead of the play. But you don't usually see foul calls underneath the basket. Hard pass, Bogner had a space maybe to go up, but wasn't able to control it. Drop step, great defense on the ground there by Jenkins. 9 on the shot clock. Stevens puts it on the deck, has it ripped away, loses a handle. Trey out in front, looking to slow it down, finds a trailer, Newsom. 30 seconds on the clock. Newsom checks the bench for the call. Newsom nearly loses a handle. Stevens on the ground. 10 on the clock now. And we've got a foul on the drive. That's going to turn the shot clock off. 14.4 And let's see, it's going to be the fourth Monarchs team foul. So Mark Morris with no more fouls to give. Crane's going to get up off the bench in a hurry. Crane is going to sub in for Jeff Rookledge. Lob over the top, not high enough, ball on the floor. Ibaretta comes away with it. Far side, Stevens for three. No, Mac West rebound, clutches it up and in. Dangerous pass, Newsom gets it off, good if it goes, and it's to the left. That is going to do it for the second quarter. What a run there in the second by Mark Morris. 32-24 your score. Mark Morris answers with a 13-8 advantage in that second quarter.
Reminder, ladies and gentlemen,
we're going to take a quick timeout here, folks, and we'll be back with some halftime stuff. Denali Heating and Air Conditioning, your local family-owned HVAC contractor, providing heating and air conditioning service for all makes and models, serving Cowlitz, Lewis, and Clark counties. Call Denali today at 360-957-8389 for all your heating and cooling needs. Denali Heating and Air Conditioning, proudly sponsoring N2 Media Streaming. Located in downtown Longview on Commerce is one of my favorite local restaurants, the Country Folks Deli, otherwise known simply as the Cow Deli. With plenty of seating in the front and back, the Country Folks Deli is family owned and operated, serving up some of the best soups, sandwiches, and much more. They feature a special soup every day they are open, and every day they have their delicious beer cheese soup with homemade croutons. Be sure to save room for one of their delicious homemade desserts. I went with the chicken cordon bleu, and it was amazing. The Country Folks Deli, open Monday through Saturday from 10 to 4 at 1329 Commerce in Longview. Country Folks Deli, proudly sponsoring Lumberjacks basketball. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. At the half here, it's Mark Morris 32. Ari Long 32, Mark Morris 24. Yeah, so I can't do any audio during these halftime shows because I will get flagged on Facebook and YouTube for copyright infringement on the music that they use. Sorry, a little late getting back there. Fell asleep at the wheel for the ads, but had to catch up on those as well. Anyway, thanks for being with us, everybody. Just about 5 minutes and 45 seconds till the buzzer sounds for the start of the second half. We'll go over the numbers here. First, for the visitors from Mark Morris, Jaden Brooks and Dalton Stevens tied with 7 points apiece. Mac West with 4, Nate Stevens with 3, and Drew Ibarreta with 3. Only player that's in the starting lineup that did not score was Carson Bogner. And for R.A. Long, Rhett Young leads the way with 10, Landon Irwin with 6, Cam Newsom with 5, Trey Jenkins with 5, Peyton Thill with 3, Josh Crane with 3. But the story of the ball game, I would say, is the first quarter run out and the hot shooting by R.A. Long, coupled that with a lot of foul trouble in the second quarter. Peyton Thill with 3 personal fouls, Rhett Young with 2, Josh Crane with 2 as well. So if you're R.A. Long, you got to try to keep your best players available throughout the ball game. And the tide really started to turn there in that second quarter. Oh, we got the Mark Morris cheerleaders over here. I'm looking at some paper. But the tide really turned when Rhett Young went out of the ball game. You know, without his presence down low, it's a little bit more of a fair fight. Young had 8 in the first quarter, 10 in the first half before Jaden Brooks really started to attack him down the lane. And Brooks with 7 points there in that first half. They were a big 7 because he was the one that was predominantly fouled there in the first quarter. Things got a little bit interesting at the end of that first half there with a couple of foul calls that were away from the ball. I think Rocky was hacked. Or somebody changed their name. But I just want to say real quick, I appreciate everybody's positive comments and feedback in the comment section. Happy to provide the streaming service for everyone. Your chance to show me how much you appreciate me is to Venmo me a donation. And R.A. Long out of the locker room. Mark Morris also out of the locker room. I saw earlier there was like 330 devices logged into this game. That's a new N2 single game record for live viewership. The first Civil War had about 4,300 views in total. It's a lot of people that care about this matchup here. So we'll see what adjustments are made, if any, by both teams. If I was a fly on the wall, I would just bet that the big thing that was talked about on the R.A. Long side was to try to make them beat you without fouling them and making sure that you guys are eligible to play all the way down the stretch. And for Mark Morris, I mean, after falling behind by so much, you're going to have to expend a lot of energy to get back into this ball game here. And they're in it. Make no mistake about it. I don't mean to sound like that this is like an unachievable deficit here at 8 points. But R.A. Long has a tendency to play deeper into the ball game with the depth that they have. But that depth is going to be challenged if they continue to pick up fouls. If you're Mark Morris, you want to attack downhill right away at Rhett Young and force the officials to make a call. Brian had a comment there on the YouTube channel, says not a lot of 10-point games feel like 2-point games. This is one. Yeah, you know, the game that was played here a couple weeks ago against Columbia River on the 24th of January, you know, R.A. Long amassed a pretty comfortable lead in that one in the first half, but You know, River came storming back in the third quarter, and then from that point on, I mean, it was close, but it felt like that River was able to put some things together and make it interesting, and it was more than interesting down the stretch. Under a minute now till the start of the second half. Make sure you get those adult beverages refilled. If you happen to be logged in here at the Lumberdome, man, the line for the concession stands is very long. Mark Morris basketball to start the second half. Chance to build some more momentum right away.
Out of bounds, Monarch basketball.
Nate Stevens to inbound it, goes to Ibarreta. Ibarreta has Newsom on him. Phil starting on the bench. Corner Brooks into the starting second half lineup. Brooks pulls the trigger from three. Splash! 10 for Jaden Brooks. And it's a 5-point game just like that. .12 on the shot clock. Jenkins goes far side. Newsom backs it way out. Jack's using a lot of clock here. 7 now on the shot clock. Newsom's got to go. Gets a screen, pulls up from three. No, rolls to Young. Young goes up and scores just in front of the buzzer. What a play by Cam Newsom, and a great job by Young just to get his head around to find the pass. Young with 12 now after the basket. Bogner has Jenkins on him. Trey doing a great job. Stevens being guarded by Crane. Irwin was showing a double team. Trey comes over, gets in position. No foul called there. Dalton Stevens finishes the layup. Irwin for three. Short and far side rebound, Dalton Stevens. Dalton, jump stop in the paint, kicks it out. Brooks, another three. Rattles out, look good. This one's out of bounds. All right, long basketball.
Out of bounds. Lumberjack basketball.
Game is getting physical here. Double team up top. Jenkins puts it on the deck, and it's going to be a foul on Ibarreta.
Foul number 4, Ibarreta. First personal, first team foul of the quarter.
Irwin to inbound it, goes to the backcourt to Newsom. Jenkins again has two Monarchs around him, gets it to Crane. Newsom fires a pass inside, deflected by Bogner, last touched by Newsom, out of bounds. So Bogner affecting the pass, forces the turnover. Mark Morris has settled in nicely here on the road. Chance to get it to a one-possession game with a bucket. Brooks, hesitation, dribble, crosses over, fires a pass to Stevens. That's Nate. Nate traveled, no call. Finds Ibarreta for three. No. And a ball out of bounds, and a lot of contact there for just them to say that it's Mark Morris basketball. The officials have a tough job here tonight. Ibarreta to inbound, goes to Bogner. Cut down low, Bogner goes up, left-hand scoop, no good. Young has it ripped out of his hands, put back no good, tapped up, and Jenkins corrals it. Now they went from calling almost everything to not calling anything. Crane finds Young, Young looking to go to work. Hook shot good. 14 for Rhett Young. Young has just been the constant so far in the ball game for R.A. Long. Lead back out to 7. Bounce pass nearly stolen. It is stolen. 2-on-1 break. Irwin goes up, leaves it short. Crane, offensive rebound. Putback is good. Crane with 5. 9-point R.A. Long advantage. Far side, Brooks puts it on the deck. Goes top of the circle. Nate Stevens traveled. Mark Hendrickson checking into the ball game for Nate Stevens. 4:28 to go now. And we're going to get a 30-second timeout.
30-second timeout.
Great crowd here tonight. Sold out house at the Lumberdome on Joe Moses Court. Thank you, Drew Zandy on Facebook for the 50-star support. Fans, make sure you're liking our page, please, on Facebook and YouTube when we have a chance, maybe during timeouts. R.A. Long basketball after this turnover by Stevens. Newsom comes open, a 3 on the way long. Jenkins keeps it alive, Bogner controls though. Pass to Bogner, Bogner turns up and hits his first basket of the game. Crucial for him to get going. 38-31, Newsom fires a pass up ahead, gets it back from Irwin. High post entry, Jenkins can still put it on the deck, passes back. Newsom fouled from behind, it rolls off. 2 free throws coming here for Cam Newsom. He just kind of stopped and let Drew Ibarreta climb up his back a little bit before the shot.
2 shots.
Newsom good on the first. He's got 6 in the game. Newsom no good on the second. Bogner tried to grab Newsom, found the ball though. Hustled down the rebound. Big play there. A 3 by Irwin, no. Jenkins and Brooks battling. Crane comes over for support, keeps it in bounds, fires a pass to Newsom. Rotation, Irwin, pump fakes, looking to enter, and it's kicked out of bounds. Reset shot clock for R.A. Long. 3:29 to go, and Peyton Phil into the ball game, and Jeff Rookledge is also going to check in for Irwin. So Phil with 3 personals had to sit the first 4.5 minutes of the third. Phil and Jenkins playing catch. Phil maybe looking for a screen here. Young comes up to give it to him. Instead, he moves it to Crane. Near side, Rookledge entering down low. Jenkins faces up, jabs right. Dalton Stevens shoulders him in. Pump fakes, goes up. Blocked by Stevens. Great timing there by Dalton. Now Dalton with it. Head of steam. Down the lane. Gets around Young easily. Young didn't want to foul. Big play there by Dalton Stevens, who's got 11. Lead down to 6. Jenkins lobs and a seal, and it's going to be a hold down low as Bogner's going to get dinged for the foul. Young couldn't get off of him. That's the 3rd Monarchs team foul, and Bogner has to check out. He's got 2 personals. Mac West into the ball game. Phil looking to inbound it, bounce pass denied, out of bounds. It'll stay here with R.A. Long in the corner. Both teams doing a great job on the defensive side here, 39-33. Both teams do play tremendous defense. Rookledge comes open, pass inside. Spinning off of Mac West is Young, but Rookledge catches. A 14-footer, no good. Phil, and Phil is gonna pick up a foul. A battle with Mark Hendrickson. That's the 4th on Peyton Phil. He's gonna have to check out Newsom back in. First team foul on the Jacks. Goes against the player that you just can't afford to lose, but the Jacks still have guys available. Bounce pass. West kicks it back out to Ibarreta, has Newsom on him, gets it to West, now Stevens. Young comes over and cuts off the drive. Young has to come out. He's one-on-one on an island with Dalton Stevens, who pulls up in his face for 3. No good. Crane rebounds it, gets it to Newsom. Newsom sprinting ahead. Numbers up ahead. Rookledge double clutches somehow and gets it to go off the window. Jacks on top by 8, 41-33. Big play there. Stevens had a chance to cut the lead in half, had a mismatch on Young. Might have taken his chances going right at the big man who's got 2 personals. Hendrickson finds an open player backside. Ibarreta bounce pass far side on the ground. West throws it up, no good. Young corrals the rebound. Newsom slowing it down. Newsom pulls up, a tough shot, no good. Ball loose, picked up by Dalton Stevens. 3-on-3, Dalton, high step, holds the ball up, and great body control there by Dalton Stevens. Lead down to 6 again. Dalton with 13. That's how many he had in game number 1. Crane cut off by West, and that's a foul with 1:01 to go. They're trying to double team on Josh far side. That's a foul you just don't want to pick up. That's the 4th team foul, so if the Monarchs foul R.A. Long once again, there will be 2 free throws to follow.
Monarch foul number 33, West, 3rd personal, 4th team foul.
Rookledge gets the inbound, goes to Newsom. New shot clock here for R.A. Long. Crane being guarded by Brooks, has a screen right by Young, gets a switch, crosses over on West, too easy. Finger roll up and in by Crane.
For 2.
11-second difference between shot clock and game clock. The Monarchs are not going to go 2 for 1. Near wing, now back out top, rotation, Bogner picks it up. Finds Brooks. Brooks for 3 from the corner. Yes! Brooks has been huge. He's got 13. Tied for the team lead, and it's a 5-point game. Five on the clock. Crane has West on him, and he's tripped up. No call. Rookledge for 3!
Rookledge for 3!
Bucket counts, 46 to 38.
Monarchs 38.
We go to the 4th quarter. It's an 8-point advantage for the Lumberjacks. Fans, buckle your seat belts for the finish in this one. R.A. Long and Mark Morris played 14 points apiece in that 3rd quarter. Peyton Phil on the bench with 4 fouls. Be sure to send the link to everybody you know who might care about this one. The entire walkway above the Lumberjacks basket, standing room only for fans. Inbound goes to Newsom. Newsom lobs it inside, and Young can't handle it. It's out of bounds. Turnover. Ibarreta with a great defensive effort there to affect that pass. The Jacks looking to go to their big man. Fourth quarter now. Rhett with 2 personals can maybe be a little bit more aggressive. You still want to be available, but only 7:40 left in this game. Stevens dribbles near side off the window. Here we go. Lead back down to 6. Stevens with 15. Newsom taking some time off the clock here. Gets a screen from Young. Gets a switch against Bogner. Goes to Crane. Crowd wanted to travel. Crane picks up his dribble, skips it to Newsom. Rotated out to Rookledge. Rookledge fake packs back to the corner. Lob down low. Young catches, finds Rookledge. Rookledge misses that one. Tapped up and scored by Young. And we've got a timeout after the made basket by Jure Key.
60-second timeout.
6:58 to go in the game. We're going to keep it here on the RA Long side. Fans, if you aren't subscribed yet, make sure you do. Blast Zone Media, providing all the local sports coverage here in Southwest Washington, Northwest Oregon, anywhere that can be covered by Volcanic Ash. For the latest prep stories, game reports, photos, predictions, and so much more, make sure you subscribe to Blast Zone Media at blastzonemedia.com. $8 a month, unlimited access. Start a free 7-day trial at no cost. Read some for free, read some paragraphs for free, but the meat and potatoes is definitely worth the $8. Thank you to Jordan Nalen and Blast Zone Media, sponsors of N2 Media. .345 devices here live, a new live stream record. 48-40. Guys are watching a good one here tonight. Dalton Stevens with 15 and Jaden Brooks with 13 leading the way for Mark Morris. Rhett Young, 16 for the Lumberjacks. He's the only player in double figures currently. It's just been a dogfight between these two teams here tonight. Brooks goes to the corner, a 3 up, long, and the backside rebound tracked down, out in front. Newsom finds Jenkins. Jenkins catches, doesn't hit, and it's tapped out of bounds. Last touch by Mark Morris. Jenkins got just a little bit deep there on the run out, and Newsom didn't see him right away. Jack's waiting for someone to come over and inbound it. .25 on the shot clock. Entry pass. Bogner taps it away from behind, out to Stevens. Dalton looking to run it out. Goes to the far side. Ibarreta, tough shot, no good. Bogner keeps it alive and grabs it, but couldn't pull it in. Tracks it down now. Crosses over. Bounce pass near side. Stevens for 3. Yes! Nate Stevens now with 6, and the lead down to 5 again. Mark Morris hasn't gotten closer than this since the first quarter. Crane looking down low. Young catches a little bit outside. Might go back outside and reestablish. It's poked loose, and it's out of bounds. Last touched by Young. And Landon Irwin up off the bench. Mac West off the bench. West goes to get Bogner. 5:55 to go. Burger King special left in this one. Nate Stevens with a clutch triple. Can Mark Morris trim it even closer? Brooks gets a screen from West, crosses over around him twice, goes to Nate Stevens. Nate out to Brooks. Brooks being guarded by Crane. Gets it to Dalton. Dalton being guarded by Newsom. A lot of contact there, but the ball is off of Stevens and out of bounds. Good defense by Newsom. Newsom sliding in front. Thought they might get a charge on the offhand there by Dalton. Crane circles the top, penetrates, rises up. No. Rebound Brooks. Good look there for Crane. Brooks out in front, lobs it backside. West catches, gets it back to Jaden. Jaden into contact, throws up a wild shot and gets a foul call, and I don't know about that one. That was a very out of control, wild drive, and Crane was backpedaling, hands straight up the entire time. But you got to put the onus on the officials. Coach Kelly looking over at Jure Key and giving him a smirk here. It's like, yeah, probably got away with one, and the ball don't lie, as Rasheed Wallace would say. 5:02 left in the game, and Bogner will re-enter. Big one here for Brooks. This would be the closest that the Monarchs have gotten it since midway through, and he doesn't. Misses them both. I can hear Rasheed yelling somewhere here in the building. Top of the circle, Jacks surveying the defense, looking for the opening. They go to the high post. Jenkins kicks. Crane now with Ibarreta on him, goes to Irwin. Irwin far side. Hard closeout. Newsom penetrates, finds Crane. A triple, no good. Ball loose on the floor. Newsom picks it up and dribbles out. Reached in on by Stevens. Nate's got to be careful not to foul up top here. Time is the enemy of Mark Morris. Still plenty of it, but extra opportunities can add up. If the Jacks get a bucket here, 7 points might feel like 12. An elbow J, no good. Tapped up and controlled by Brooks. Young looked like he got a fingertip on it, but just couldn't get it. Another big moment here for the Monarchs. Ibarreta checking the bench for the call. 4 to go. Top of the circle, Ibarreta. Yes, Drew Ibarreta hits. It's a 2-point game. The Monarchs are within a field goal of tying or taking the lead, and we got a foul. Nate Stevens picks it up.
Monarch foul number 20, Nathan Stevens, fourth personal.
3:43 left in the game. Coming down to it. Peyton Phil back into the game. He's going to be well rested. Newsom is going to get a break. Phil with 4 fouls. What can the senior do to help give momentum back to R.A. Long? Jenkins drives, penetrates, it's tapped, nearly stolen. Jenkins recovers. Phil, 9 on the clock, gets it to Crane. Far side, the defense is just amazing here for Mark Morris, and a lot of contact there. Foul called.
Monarch foul number 20.
It's going to go against Nate Stevens, and he is fouled out of the ball game. Sorry I wasn't keeping track of that, but that's huge. Mark Hendrickson in off the bench. 3:16 left. Peyton Phil to inbound Ibarreta on the ball. Bounce pass entry. Irwin catches it, gets it out to Jenkins. Plenty of time here, 25 on the shot clock. Irwin looking to enter it, does to Young. Young goes up, he's fouled and will head to the line. Bogner committing the personal.
Monarch foul number 21, Hendrickson.
3:07 to go now. Big free throws coming here, a lot of time left. Looks like it's the 3rd team foul on Mark Morris, only 1 for R.A. Long. Pressure free throws here for the big man. Misses the first. Always hard to play a home game and have the opposing team's fans making a ton of noise. Spirit fingers up on the far side. Loud noise on the near side. Young can't hit either. Brooks with the board. Mark Morris can tie or take the lead with a basket. Bogner penetrates under the basket, dangerously close to being out of bounds was Ibarreta. Bounce pass down low. Bogner misses the shot. Young commits the personal, and Carson Bogner can tie it with 2 at the line.
Lumberjack foul number 34, Young, third personal, third team foul. Bogner to the line for the Monarchs.
Fans, in case you didn't know, this is for the league championship and the #1 seed. What a ball game we've been treated to so far tonight. Bogner hits the first. Pressure free throw hit. Carson only 3 points, but that's a big one. And Newsom back into the game for Tremaine Jenkins. Bogner for the tie. Hits it. Mark Morris has battled through adversity as they have throughout the second half of the league schedule. And they have this game 0-0 essentially with 2:40 to go. The defense has been smothering. Crane kicks it out. Newsom with it. To Irwin, to Phil. Back to Irwin, bounce pass entry. Crane rises up and scores. Great feed there by the Crocodile Hunter. Nobody out in front. Stevens senses it, goes up and scores! Newsom with it now, attacking, and he's fouled. It's going to be the 4th team foul against Mark Morris with 2:11 to go. With that last bucket for Crane, he's got 9. Ken Kelly, the head coach of Mark Morris, wanted to travel, doesn't get it. They're going to wipe the floor here, 50 up. Keep his whistle, the chant now on the other side. Oh my God, they're making up chants now. Back and forth we go. Civil War 150, are you not entertained? Crane came open, but they go to Newsom. Crane might have had a layup there on the far block. Zone defense. Phil for 3 in the lead! Called off the bench. Timeout, Jeray Key. Four fouls don't phase Peyton Phil.
60-second
We'll
timeout.
keep it here on the RA Long side. Mark Morris will have the ball and will inbound 53-50. Python Phil with 6. I gotta tell you, this is gonna be a game that's probably talked about to kids and grandkids for generations to come. The city of Longview coming together for one of the greatest rivalries in the state, maybe the country, maybe the world. It's a shame more people don't know about it. But anybody who's anybody is tuned into this one. 1:55 to go. Situation, 14 fouls for Mark Morris, 2 for R.A. Long. Phil, the only one in jeopardy of fouling out as he's got 4. That's at the moment, by the way. Nate Stevens for Mark Morris has fouled out. Mark Hendrickson inserted into the game. Maybe he's got a Monarchs special up his sleeve. Entry goes to Bogner. Brooks dribbles back. Now Bogner has Crane on him. 13 on the shot clock. Mark Morris taking their time. Newsom denies it. It's thrown away. 3 out in front, and they call a carry. What? That was not a carry. That's a terrible call. Come on. What the hell was that? On a 3-on-2 break, nothing happened. Wow. I bet the R.A. Long student section isn't chanting keep his whistle now. Stevens off the dribble has Jenkins moving his feet fast. Stevens just going down low, might have traveled, and it is a travel called by Eric Cheatley. And Drake, he's working his ears saying, that's a carry, that's a carry, that's a carry. Rhett Young is going to check into the ball game.
Replaces Jenkins.
416 watching, first live stream in history that's gone over 400 live devices. Phil, the senior, takes it down under a minute, reached in on by Hendrickson. They can't foul, and Jure Key gets a timeout, and I think he wanted a foul instead. No, it's going to be a foul. This is going to put Phil at the free throw line. Ooh, I don't know. Double team there, and didn't look like much.
Phil to the line for the Jacks. Shooting 2.
Phil, pressure free throws, can make it a 2-possession game. And the senior hits. Python Phil makes it a 4-point game. Young checks out. Jenkins back in. The senior, Peyton Phil, misses the second. Rebound, Dalton Stevens, and he's looking to push, and the Monarchs need to score in a hurry, but they need to be effective. Crossover in the paint, easy bucket for Jaden Brooks, and we've got a timeout after the made bucket. Mark Morris takes the full charge timeout, 47.6 left in the game. How do you let that drive happen if you're R.A. Long? Didn't close off the paint at all. What a play by Jaden Brooks off the bench here tonight for the Monarchs. He's got 15. Stevens with 17. Those two combining for 32 of the Monarchs' 52 points. Rhett Young leading the way with 16 for R.A. Long. Situation again, 5 team fouls on Mark Morris. If you're R.A. Long, you get to the free throw line on any Monarch foul for 2. R.A. Long only with 2 fouls, each team looking like they've got 2 timeouts remaining in the game. I'm not rooting for him, Jim. Jim Woodruff says, hide who you're rooting for. I went to Kelso. I don't have an allegiance here. I'm just calling it the way I see it. That wasn't a carry, that's all. I'm not, in the situation, a 3-on-2, where there's nothing egregious on a transition opportunity, you just don't make that call. I would say the same if it was on Mark Morris. No one should take it personal. Not rooting for any one team. Inbound goes to Phil. Phil moves it to Newsom with Ibarreta on him. 16 on the shot clock. High screen, roll, instead goes to the corner to Crane. Crane dribbling out. Way beyond the volleyball line, gets ahead of steam, gets around Ibarreta, finds a roll, and it's Young! What a pass, what a finish! Jacks by 4, timeout Jure Key, and it's a full timeout. 19.3 left in the ball game. What a game. I'm just reading the comments here right now. I can't believe that. I'm getting accused of rooting for someone here. I'm rooting for what everybody's watching right now, and that's a fantastic ball game. I've played basketball for 32, 33 years of my life. And I'm just saying that that's not a carry. That's all. That's it. It's nothing personal. I've called an equal amount of Mark Morris and R.A. Long games all year long. And over the last couple of years. I love the game. I love the atmosphere. full court. Monarchs 20 seconds to work. They need a quick bucket. Maybe go for a quick two, but we've got a foul up top, and Crane golf claps on the floor.
Lumberjack foul number 21, Crane, fourth personal.
That's a high IQ play right there. I think that Coach Ken Kelly's onto something here. I think he's calling over to his team that when pressure comes over, you need to throw your arms up with the hands on the ball to act like you're shooting. But that was a high IQ play because now there's 13.7. Play goes in. Stevens taking a lot of time. Steps out. This is a two. No good. Crane rebounds, and it's a foul. Quick whistle as the ball went out of bounds. 5.1, that's going to do it. Ari Long is going to walk to the other end of the court and take 2 free throws here with 5.1. Fans, before you complain about anything further, please type into the live stream comment section, player of the game. I got to tell you my vote here at the end of it, but what a game it's been. And here's the I believe we will win chant by the Lumberjack faithful as Crane dials up and hits the first. 10 now for Crane, just the second Lumberjacks player in double figures as Drake wants to time out. And they could feel it. Smiles on the faces of Ari Long in the huddle. Adam Hartley says Rook votes for player of the game. Phil is a vote. I like it. Boo says Josh Crane. Go Rhett from Michelle. Woo! Zach Dreyer, 34. That's Rhett Young. Chris Smith, big fella. I gotta say, I mean, I'm definitely with Rhett Young on the player of the game with 18. His value was immensible. Irreplaceable in the lineup tonight as Crane hits the second just to rub it in. 6-point lead, 58-52. Bogner to make it look more respectable. It was an amazing game. Ari Long is your league and district champions. The 150th Civil War goes to Longview's original high school, the R.A. Long Lumberjacks. Final score in this one, Lumberjacks 58, Monarchs 52. R.A. Long will be the #1 seed from the Greater St. Helens League in the District 4 tournament starting next week. Mark Morris, nothing to hang their heads about. They have plenty of basketball to be played. They will be the #2 seed out of the GSHL, and they will host either the EVCO #3 or the Greater St. Helens #6. What an absolutely amazing ball game here tonight at the Lumberdome. 58-52. You got to give the Monarchs a ton of credit for coming back and tying that ball game after being down by 13 at the end of the first quarter. They never quit. You also equally have to give a ton of credit to the R.A. Long Lumberjacks. The fans are waiting to mob their team here at the Lumberdome. Looks like they're not going to storm the court. Pictures being taken. Fans, we got the post-game show here. Last time Josh Crane came up and crashed and talked to me before he went into the locker room. We're making certain that doesn't happen here tonight. I'm sure that the Lumberjacks are going to head into the locker room after dapping it up with friends and family out here on the court. But we'll talk about the game and we'll name an MVP. Mike Casanova from Lake Tahoe. Woo, you made it. Thank you, Nicholas. Absolutely. I just want to say real quick, I really been reading the comments throughout, and I really appreciate everybody with all the positive feedback. before we talk real quick, again, I hate to do it, but I have to do it. Oh, my. But if you care so much, send a doll hair my way, maybe 5, maybe 10. Appreciate all the support that I get and all the great feedback and comments. And hey, listen, I don't want anybody to take anything personal, about the commentary. I'm not, if it comes across that way, I apologize. Certainly not trying to root for one team or the other. Like I said, I went to Kelso, so yeah. I'm a Highlander. I coach Kelso basketball, Kelso baseball, But anyway, consider a donation. Venmo preferred, PayPal acceptable. Back to the game real quick. And thank you again, everybody. Woo, boy. I love this. Van Hooker Trotter. Wow. That is tough. Van Hooker Trotter. I'd probably go Van Hook because Trotter had a really good team around him. Not saying that Van Hook didn't, but big difference there. All right, here we go. Player of the game or recap? Not sure what to do first. I'm going to go with recap. Let's go recap here. Ari Long came out scorching as they are cutting down the net here at home. You can enjoy that in the background. Scott says, dude loves the Jacks. Wow, I love it. Recap. 24-11 at the end of the first quarter. The Jacks, like I said, were scorching hot, nearly scored a quarter of a century. Seemed like nobody could miss. And they were getting anything they wanted at any spot on the court, too. I mean, Young was down low. He scored 8 in that first period. But the three-point shooting was hot as well. Second quarter, the Mark Morris defense turned up. I don't want to use the word shut down because they didn't completely shut Ari Long down, but they held the Lumberjacks to 8 points in the quarter. They outscored them 13-8. They grabbed the momentum heading into the locker room. Speaking of momentum, Jeffrey Rookledge came away with a buzzer-beating 3 after Mark Morris just kept trimming and trimming over and over again. It was a 5-point game, and Rookledge, with 1 on the clock from the near corner, got it off and hit it nothing but net to give Ari Long an 8-point lead. Mark Morris would not be deterred. They would continue to fight all the way back. Dalton Stevens, a man on a mission, and Jaden Brooks equally possessed tonight. They end up tying the ball game at 50 apiece, as most of you remember in recent history. And then Ari Long made the game history after Peyton Phil came in off the bench with 4 fouls, cold as ice, and hit a huge 3 and also hit a free throw to put Ari Long on top, 54-50. Brooks drove and scored on an open lane to get it back down to 2. But then a huge bucket on an assist by Josh Crane to Rhett Young made it 56-52. And 2 Crane free throws were the cherry on top for the Lumberjacks here in the 150th Civil War. Now, player of the game. Brian votes for Rookledge. Yeah, it was a big shot. It was a huge shot. Was it bigger than Phil's considering the circumstances? No. No offense, Jeff, or Jeff's extended family. But Phil's shot was way, way bigger. And you can't call Phil player of the game because he sat on the bench for so long. He had an effect when he was in there. But I'll tell you what, Rhett Young, when he went out of the game with 2 fouls in the second quarter, that's when Mark Morris was able to find more openings, and Ari Long was searching for buckets. couldn't find any. And the second half, Young continued to show how valuable he was. 18 points in the game. Next closest for R.A. Long was Crane with 11. Irwin with 6, Newsom with 6, Thill with 7, Jenkins with 5. There's your total scoring for the Lumberjacks with 58. Rhett Young is your player of the game here tonight. The transfer from Columbia River a season and a half ago. I'm not going to definitively call him the reason that they won the game, but he's the player of the game. He was the most valuable out there here tonight. It showed his presence on the court and what Mark Morris was able to accomplish with him off the court, in my mind, easily makes him the player of the game. Now, the shot of the game, probably Thill. When it was 50 up, Phil's 3 was incredible. But, I think that you got something. I'm kind of speechless at this point here. I'm not gonna be able to go down and grab an interview here. These guys are gonna do their thing. We've got 8:38 Pacific time. I think that the party's probably gonna go on for about another 20 minutes before Athletic Director Dwayne McCabe shuts down shop. But you can't interrupt the net cutting ceremony. But man, just to talk real quick again, this makes the series 107-43. Mark Morris still with a healthy lead as Jure Key climbs the ladder with players, parents, and students cheering him on. He's going to cut this net off. League championship decided here in the 150th Civil War. And R.A. Long will walk off the court, head to the locker room for a powwow. Still a lot of work to be done, and that will probably be the sentiment shared amongst the players to the media after this one. The Jacks have had their sights set on a much bigger goal this year. They want a state trophy, and they want to play for the big one. Still a lot of season left here as we just end the regular season here with this game. District playoffs start next week. With the 1 seed, R.A. Long will take on either the Evergreen number 4 or the Greater St. Helens number 5. But then potentially waiting in the semifinals would be the only team that handed R.A. Long a loss this season. The Columbia River Rapids will be the 3 seed. They would have to upset, if you want to call it that, the number 2 EVCO team on the road to set up that potential matchup, assuming the Jacks make it to the semis. Mark Morris is the 2 seed, has what some would consider a more navigatable path to the district championship. They would avoid both R.A. Long and Columbia River to get there. So a lot of basketball is still to be played. On that front, I just want to let everybody know that we are officially in Baby Watch 2025. If my wife is still watching at home, love you, baby. But we are going to have our first baby girl coming up here anytime now. But just to let everybody know that we are going to make sure we have it by the district championship. So unless she decides to come out sooner, which you can all root for, I could potentially not be available to stream the district championship for either school. I do have the Eli Sports Network standing by. Matt King does a phenomenal job for the Eli Sports Network and the NFHS Network. I don't want to hear any NFHS trash talk because everybody will be spending $12 a month when both of these teams go to state. If you sign up to watch the district championship, if it ends up being that way, it means that you will have signed up and you will have the state tournament included. So anyway, we will make sure that the game is streamed. It will be at Kelso High School on February 21st. It'll be a girls-boys doubleheader. Girls, the undercard, the main event, starting after that one. Scheduled tip-off around 8 o'clock. So be sure to make your district playoff plans soon. I believe next Saturday is the first round of the playoffs for R.A. Long and Mark Morris. Both will host. And we will see what we got on the schedule potentially for where we could be to stream that ball game. If I can't get to both locations with another setup from somebody, we'll probably go with the higher seed. But we also might go with the best game. Who knows? We'll have to figure it out. Navigatable. Yes, it's a great word, Tim. I appreciate you being with us here. Tim Hinchcliffe, former R.A. Long Lumberjack. I thought I saw a comment from you earlier, Tim, about Trotter being the bane of your existence. That might be a fact. I don't know. But that was such a hard question from Boo about Van Hook or Trotter. That's a tough one. Yeah. Both really good players. Well, the party's winding down, and I think that I'm going to go ahead and call it a stream here. So fans, thank you so much for all the support in the regular season. It means the world to me and my family. And again, I'm going to annoy you, but if you want to throw a few schmeckles to your host, Venmo preferred, PayPal acceptable, at N2 Media. And again, fans, make sure that you're following us on these social media platforms. Anxious to see where we're at after this one. I have a feeling that we're going to have the most watched stream of all time. We already had the most watched live stream, but people do go back and watch these afterwards. They can hear my biased commentary, apparently. Brian says football season has started. Yes, it has. I'm sure 7-on-7s are going to be in the snow this year. But fans, keep yourself posted on our social medias. That's where we're going to have our information dump for when we get to districts and where we're going to be at and what our streaming schedule is going to look like. We got girls basketball and boys basketball starting next week. Locations are now more determined. R.A. Long and Mark Morris will host in the first round. The Mark Morris girls will travel. The R.A. Long girls will travel. They've got to win to stay in the tournament. Mark Morris is in the double elimination portion. Chance to get to regionals. But what a game here tonight. Everybody doing a fantastic job supporting both schools. Live stream comment section, very appropriate here tonight. Tim says, truth seems to have a bias, I guess. It does. Because you know why, Tim? Truth has a bias because the person who hates the truth is, in fact, biased. So there you go. I mean, it's okay to root for a team. It doesn't mean that you can't call a spade a spade. It's just the facts. It's just the facts, Jack. Jody Nayland right here. Look at that. There's the owner of Blast Zone Media. Look at him. He's climbing. He's got his dreadlocks. My beard's getting long. It might soon mimic that of Jordan Nayland. But Blast Zone Media in the house. Make sure that you are subscribed to Blast Zone Media. The Monarchs hanging around here and dapping it up with their faithful. What a game here tonight. I didn't mention the total scoring for Mark Morris yet. I'm going to do that. We'll get out of here. But Dalton Stevens with 17, Jaden Brooks with 15, Drew Ibarreta and Nate Stevens with 6, Bogner with 4, Mac West with 4, 52 total tonight for the Monarchs in defeat. And R.A. Long 58 points in the win. The 150th Civil War goes to R.A. Long 58-52. And again, they're the number 1 seed and your league champions heading out of league. And there he is right there. Well, fans, thank you again so much for your support all season long. Can't do it without you, and can't do it without our sponsors, Ecological Land Service, Denali Heating and Air Conditioning, the Country Folks Deli, Blast Zone Media. Appreciate all the support. And, of course, Ryan Littlefield of Edward Jones Financial. You guys have been phenomenal all season. If you want to have an ad featured on the live stream, just hit me up. Send me a DM. We were talking about the Volkswagen bus last night, Tim, actually. He said he won second place in Best European Import. That's a fact, Jack. All right, guys. Appreciate you joining us. On behalf of N2 Media, Ari Long, and Mark Morris Athletics, this is Nick Sisson saying so long from the Lumberdome. Jacks sweep the season series, and they're your league champs. 58-52, Ari Long. More info to come in the upcoming days on social media. Rankings will be out on Sunday. Hope you all have a great weekend, and we hope to see you next week. Take care.